One player from Michigan State goes into the portal, but they have a visit with the wide receiver target set in the near future. Also, we are joined by Joel Whymer, the director of recruiting for MSU women's basketball, to talk about their first season in the new era. Also, what on earth goes on in the transfer portal? Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and it is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on the classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go for free on the App Store or Google Play. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for joining Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white, 5 days a week, except we're going to have a programming note right at the top here. This is most likely the last episode until this weekend after the spring showcase that's going to happen on Saturday. I got a travel day coming up. This makeshift studio that you've been watching for the last few days here in the hottest laundry room in Southwest Florida. I am abandoning this soon. We will be back home in the studio, so thanks a lot, guys, for bearing with me here. But yes, this could be the last episode. So let's just get right into the mix. Let's waste no time. Eddie Pleasant, he is the second player in as many days to enter the portal for Michigan State. Yesterday, offensive lineman Braden Miller, he enters the portal. And today, defensive back, redshirt freshman, or soon-to-be redshirt freshman, Eddie Pleasant, he enters the portal too. Now, this isn't a seismic shift of a loss here for Michigan State. Just to put it bluntly here, he did not play at all as a freshman last year. He was going to be a depth piece, and even as little proven depth as Michigan State has at cornerback, there's still quite the pecking order in front of him. So the Tampa, Florida native, he is in the transfer portal. And not to pile on the kid, because I generally hope he lands on his feet here before I just wind up and do this little bit. But on Twitter, he did reach out. He said, hey, I'd like to thank Coach Smith, Coach Martin, the teammates, and the entire coaching staff at the University of Michigan State for giving me the opportunity to be a Spartan. So the University of Michigan State, UMS, is losing a defensive player in that one. That might be a little bit of a cheap shot on my part. That's a very inane thing to rail on, but I get when high school recruits are, they get the MSU thing mixed up, but my God, you were here for a year. It's Michigan State University, for God's sakes. But again, I'm not a total monster. We are rooting for him, and hopefully he does find a good situation for him wherever that next chapter is. Now, Michigan State is already active in the portal. This thing only opened on Tuesday, right? This has been open for less than 48 hours, but Michigan State, they have a visit set up with 3-year receiver Javarius Johnson out of Auburn. So he's not the only, or Michigan State isn't the only program that Mr. Johnson will be visiting. He's also visited University of Central Florida, and he will be visiting Arizona per the reports from On3. But the goal is to have him in sometime after the spring game here. And this is something you can very easily see for Michigan State. We've talked ad nauseum about it, guys. As far as it goes for what position does Michigan State need, we talk cornerback, we talk pass rusher, and wide receiver. This fits the mold right here because what he brings, what Javarius Johnson brings to Michigan State, isn't something you see a lot of with this receivers room. Because we trust Montori Foster. He's the leading receiver from last year. Jerron Glover, we expect a big year out of him. Even the young guys, Antonio Gates Jr., Nick Marsh, they have their own skill set. But Javarius Johnson is a speed demon. What he was able to do at Auburn just off screen passes, straight line speed, is something Michigan State doesn't have in that receiver room. And you go back to what, Jonathan Smith? What Brian Lindgren were able to do over in Corvallis with one Silas Bolden, and believe me, I'm going to check myself here, but that is kind of what you can see here with Javarius Johnson. Now, Silas Bolden, if you're not hip to it, at Oregon State last year, complete blazer of a receiver. This guy had some wheels. There's a reason he was all Pac-12, this, and that, but he had 54 catches for him, 746 yards, 5 touchdowns, but the way they used him is a way you can see them use Javarius Johnson. Now, Johnson, he just had 19 catches last year for the Auburn Tigers, 347 yards, yet 3 touchdowns. Now, something that is interesting, too, about him, and when I say interesting, I'm genuinely curious to see how they're going to handle this, is that he does have 9 punt return attempts in his career. And no, that's not a great sample size, but it's certainly better than what we have over here in East Lansing. Tyrell Henry, that was our return guy. It's going to be hard for him to return punts and kickoffs for Michigan State this year, as he is at Wisconsin for this upcoming season. But I do wonder if that even sweetens the deal that, hey, not only can you come here, you could be that slot receiver, you could be that speed guy. Look at what we did with Silas Bolden at Oregon State. This could be you, Mr. Johnson, except the green and white version of him. And granted, again, guys, like Silas Bolden, like that's a really, really good player. Johnson probably has the opportunity to be a good player here for Michigan State, but that is something you could see actually working here for MSU. Now, this isn't the only receiver that Michigan State was attached to, at least on Wednesday. Justice Ross Simmons out of Colorado State. He's also in the transfer portal. Now, he's heard from a lot of different schools. Michigan State is just one that he's heard from. Unlike Johnson, he doesn't have a visit yet, but hey, it's worth talking about when Michigan State is reaching out to guys. Now, what's different about Justice Ross Simmons is that he's like more of a big-bodied receiver. Like, he's not that 5'10" receiver that you see with Javarius Johnson, the speed demon guy. Like, he's a built receiver, honestly, kind of the body size of an Antonio Gates Jr. So, but decorated. I mean, this guy is experienced. He had 45 catches last year, 724 yards. So we'll see if anything transpires out of that. Again, Colorado State kid. He's hearing from West Coast teams like USC, like Washington. So we'll update you if there's any visit down the pike coming for Justice Ross Simmons. But just had to update you guys on the transfer portal happenings. So next up for Michigan State is Saturday, a spring showcase. Now, we've been tabbing it as this open practice. And Jonathan Smith, the other day in front of the media, he was talking that, hey, no, we're actually going to have 4 10-minute quarters for a scrimmage at the end of this thing. Now, it's going to be a running clock. It's going to be just 40 minutes, no breaks. I can't imagine they're going to let too much out of the bag here, but if not for nothing else, that is exciting because all indications suggested that, no, this would just be a 7-on-7 at best here amongst a lot of other different individual drills. And, of course, the photo opportunities, the autographs that you get as fans before the game. But at least we're going to get that at the end of this because, I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times last year at Oregon State. Close to no scrimmage aspect over there in Corvallis just to protect the players, the health, this, and that. So really quick, what are we going to be looking for in this spring game? Just right at the top here. Okay, I'm going to stop myself. At the very, very top, no injuries would be delightful. I don't know, call me crazy for that one. But right after that is just to see if they're going to tip off who the starting rotation is right now. Namely on offensive line. We're interested in that. Of course, the defensive line too. But also linebacker. We talked the other day that it's a very, very busy room. They didn't get Jordan Turner from Wisconsin for no reason. They have Wayne Matthews. You could expect him to start as that pass coverage linebacker. And Jordan Hall. And those are 3 strong linebackers. But wait, guys, there's a Cal Halliday coming back. He's been here since 2006. I mean, surely they're going to find a spot on the field for him. So I'm just interested to see where everyone's going to fall, where Dylan Tatum's going to play. A guy like Angelo Gross, where is he going to play under the new system, and Joe Rossi? So, again, it's not surefire if we are going to see or if we are going to get concrete takeaways from this. But, hey, 'tis the season. It's a spring game. It's a spring practice. Any crumb of information we can get is something we are going to keep an eye on. So not just are we going to keep an eye on is Cal Halliday in the starting lineup if they kind of tip who the starting linebackers are. And not only will it be fun to see Aiden Childs hopefully sling a ball out of the stadium, right? Like, obviously we're going to be watching for Aiden Childs, seeing how great he looks throwing the ball. But just looking at them, and I hate to make this into like a meat market, but truly just to see what they look like, because Cal Halliday, it's been long said by himself, a few coaches, that he's lost some weight, upwards of 20 pounds this offseason. Jonathan Smith, I don't think it was the last press conference, but the one before that, said that Aiden Childs has gained 15 to 20 pounds, so he's no longer as scrawny as he was at Oregon State, getting more physically ready for his sophomore season coming up. So, yeah, again, guys, this is spring practice. You talk about bizarre storylines of what we're watching for, but yes, I guess the one I'm going to leave you with is looking at these guys and just seeing how they look in pads. But really, I mean, as odd as it sounds, it kind of is a legitimate storyline here ahead of the spring practice. Guys, we're going to be back here in a hot second. We got a great guest coming down the pike here. I just used coming down the pike twice in the same segment. It's Joel Whymer. He is the director of recruiting for MSU women's basketball, talking about their successful first year. Also, in his role, what on earth is it like to navigate the transfer portal? But first, need to talk your ears off about Yahoo Finance. This show, Locked on Spartans, is brought to you by our friends over at Yahoo Finance. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all, guys. I get it. You've saved, you've researched, you invested all that you can, but now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great uses. It's Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or are looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need all in one place. They're the number one financial destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. And with a community of over 90 million users each month. I'll say that again, 90 million users each month. Their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. So for comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The number one financial destination is yahoofinance.com. Again, that is yahoofinance.com. Folks, fired up for this one. It is Joel Whymer. He is the director of recruiting over for the MSU women's basketball team. Joining the show here, burning up a few minutes of his crazy offseason with us. Joel, my man over there in East Lansing, how on earth are you doing so far?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt. It's been a busy but fun offseason.
No kidding. We're going to get to the transfer portal, how it all works, I mean, what your role in it is. But first, we got to talk about the last season for you guys. First year under Robyn Fralick. And in the NCAA tournament, top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Like, look, us over here, it's easy for us to look at that in the first year and say, smashing success. Like, that's what I'm talking about. But how about you guys? Are you a little harsher graders over there, or would you call that season a success?
No, we feel like it was a huge success for, year one. We had a lot of really good players stay. You know, a little over a year ago, Coach Fralick was hired, and she assembled their staff, and we had a lot of really good players stay and work really hard. They had, right from the start, they had an awesome summer.
Gotcha.
Preseason, and we really had a great year. The kids, we're growing and heading in the right direction, but it was an awesome first year.
When did you kind of realize that, okay, this is actually going to go fine this first year? Like, was it in those summer workouts that you're talking about, or was it until like you got into your season where you realized, hey, we got like an NCAA squad right here?
Yeah, I guess like one of the great things about Coach Fralick is we never really it's just one day at a time and just like stacking days and having day after day. And Coach Dean Lockwood stayed on from the previous staff, and he was really good at just helping us through the process of like, hey, this is what it looks like in the Big Ten. And we just really just kind of tunnel vision, and all of a sudden towards the end of the year, we're like, I think that we got a chance to make the tournament, right?
Right. Because as a coaching staff, how often are you checking bracketologies? Because me as a fan over here, I'm checking it starting Thanksgiving week. I mean, so for you guys, when do you start poking around and seeing how realistic it is?
We never even really talked about it. Like,
really? Okay.
It would change every other day. So like it was kind of like just, hey, let's handle our business. And we won our last 5 regular season games to finish the regular season. Put us in a position to get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament. And but the week in between, so like with the women's tournament, our conference tournament ended and we had a week before the selection Sunday. We used that week just to get better and practice and go recruiting and, just build.
And what do you think like the biggest success was for you guys this year? Was it just making the NCAA tournament, or was there like a actual game that you saw that you guys played was like, okay, I can see the trajectory moving forward here? What was the biggest single success this year?
Yeah, we had a really good non-conference built.
Yeah.
We had some unfortunate injuries during that time too, so it kind of limited our depth. And but we played smaller at times, right? We had different lineups. And in the conference season, like they have that first game in December, and we didn't play very well against Nebraska, but then we bounced back and had a huge win at Penn State, our second conference game, and then went to Iowa and lost at the buzzer, and we're like, hey, we got enough to do well. And then we swept Michigan for the first time since 2019. Some big wins. We beat Maryland at home, who's a women's basketball, a lot of tradition. We did a lot of cool things this year with some momentum building into next year.
And on top of all that, too, not only are you guys racking up wins, you're back in the NCAA tournament, but it's just a fun team to watch. And this is a graphic head coach Robyn Fralick tweeted out. This is a little bit ago. But you guys were 11 in the nation at three-point percentage, 37.4%. Number 9 in the nation at three-pointers per game. I mean, you guys are just blitzkrieging teams from behind the arc. Was that just kind of, hey, this is what this year's team is? Or is that an identity that you guys want moving forward here, is just, okay, we're going to put some emphasis on the three-point ball and a high-flying offense?
Yeah, that's Coach Fralick's style in her system. When she was at Ashland, she was 104-3 in 3 years.
Yeah, not bad.
He had a season where they scored the most points in school or in NCAA history. So they most points per year is like 98 points a game. They passed UConn's record of most points in a season. And then at Bowling Green, during the rebuild, we were always really good offensively. We took a little bit of time to build our defense, and we went from last to first from year 2 to year 3. And offensively, it's a fun style. It's a style that recruits want to play to. High school and transfer kids are attracted to. It's up tempo. We scored 83 points a game, 18 assists. The ball move. Like people say, oh yeah, we play fast, but we actually do it. We practice that way.
Right. You guys take the ball right out of the basket and just get up court. It's a thrilling watch. It's nice. So with that said, though, what is the next step of improvement, whether it is the offensive side of the ball, although I don't think you guys have left yourself much room for improvement on that side, or is it somewhere else in the court that you guys are looking to make a step for next year?
Yeah, we'll have some depth back, right? We'll get some size. We added some size in the transfer portal. We added some shooting, some length, and then some point guard play too. So we'll have true depth. We'll have the ability we'll be better defensively, and offensively we're going to keep playing our style, and then also we have a really good core returning too. We have multiple kids that had great success this year that will continue to get better during the offseason and skill development.
So even though it's so long before the season even starts, is it too early to talk goals for next year? Is that one of the things where you don't really know what they can be until you get the whole roster assembled, or are there already goals being thrown around inside the basketball building over there?
No, we haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
Our focus is just one day at a time and just getting day. But our team is hungry. Our staff is hungry. We're excited to keep getting better, and we believe we can do it. We look around every day at Michigan State. This is the Breslin Center. We're like, hey, this place is awesome.
I mean, it just seems like there's an electricity around MSU women's basketball that hasn't been around for a very long time. And that's not, I'm not trying to slander the last staff there, but it's just new energy in the building, whether it is the offense, whether it is just the winning. I mean, is that something you guys are feeling in Breslin Center during the games? Can you feel it, the momentum of the crowd building throughout the whole season?
Yeah, we felt like as the season went on, we had, more people coming to the games, and Coach Fralick does a radio show at Reno's East, and it was jam packed with a lot of fans.
Gotcha.
And people care about women's basketball at Michigan State. It's a basketball school, right? We get a lot of support. The Michigan game at home, I think it was January 26th. It was I can't remember the exact date, but it was they opened up the top bowl, and it was it had a good amount of people up there. I think it was 1,000 fans. We anticipate people continuing to get interested in it, especially with just women's basketball interest around the country.
Sky high. I know it's booming. Electric tournament. I liked watching it a lot more than the men's tournament. That's half because the women's tournament was very exciting. The other half is I can't stand to watch Purdue play basketball, and they wouldn't stop winning. But Nevertheless, that's a different conversation topic. Joel, speaking of different conversation topics, I want to mix it up. I want to just pick your brain on what on earth even happens in the transfer portal, especially from your point of view, the director of recruiting. But first, so sorry, I got to send you to the bench, Joel, because I need to talk to people's ears off about Monopoly Go. That's right, one of the best gaming apps out there. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime, and the scoreboard is not looking too hot. You're feeling low, not sure if you or the team can pull out a win. And that's when you got to dig deep, lift up your head, and say to yourself, well, it's time to get back into the game, pull off some bank heists, and take as much money from my friends as I possibly can. That's right. This is smash hit mobile game Monopoly Go. Lets you compete with your friends and get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's a Monopoly board game you love, but on your phone, anywhere, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards. And hey, you can also compare your progress with your buddies. There's so much to do, like play on countless other dynamic boards. You could also wreck your friends' properties with a wrecking ball. You can make them go bankrupt. You could charge them high rent for your iconic properties. Or if you actually want to be a decent person, you could even work with your friends to crack open community chests in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb that leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go. Again, that is Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. Now let's drag him back onto the stage here. It is Joel Whymer, Director of Recruiting over for women's basketball. Joel, I could talk your ear off about this for maybe the next hour and a half, but I'll keep it somewhat short because I'm just fascinated in the transfer portal. Buzzer sounds to end the year against North Carolina. How quick are you in the portal? Like, are you watching videos of other players as you're walking in the tunnel on the way back to the locker room? Or like, just walk us through what happens between season end and your job this offseason.
Yeah, it was actually happening before the
Gotcha.
The window opened, I think, the week before the tournament started. And yeah, and there's still, I mean, in May 1st, the window closes, so there's still players going in. But a lot of, like you said, about the interest in the people's, the style of play that, Coach Fralick's system, it draws, the transfers are excited, right? So,
yeah.
Last year when we got hired, it was a little bit late. We were trying to figure out who's staying on the team and, all that stuff. It was just a little bit different last year, where this year, like we've had some time to really dig in the portal.
How does it even work? Like, so are you reaching out to players? Are there a good amount of players that reach out to you? Is it like a cocktail of both? Or are you just staring at Excel spreadsheets, combing video through video through video? Or how does the process even work from shrinking a massive portal down to like targets that you want? I imagine it also takes some support staff, perhaps.
Yeah, there's some
different
features we have to filter the portal, I guess you should say, and
gotcha
what we need, and then also just kids that, like, all right, they fit our style, right? And like we have, it's a team effort. The whole staff's involved, and we've been busy with visits, and also just making sure we really get to know the kids too. Like, that's, the culture is everything, and our team is close, and we want kids that fit our team. But yeah, we've been able to address some good needs, and we're excited about it. Like the portals, it's like you went into journalism and we're working at a newspaper, right? It's like you got to adapt with the times. Like it's part of it. Like we're gonna get the best high school players in the country, and then in the transfer portal, it's a lot of kids that we've recruited before, and they know us, and we have previous relationships with their high school coaches and travel coaches that it helps us like have it in with all those kids.
And so, like, from the outside looking in, a lot of us college sports fans, not just for women's basketball, but just college sports in general, or even talking heads like myself, always talk about how crazy the portal is, how frantic it is. So in your role, like, do you feel that way too? Like, is it crazy for you, or have you found like the formula there to now it's, there are thousands of players entering, but there's actually a calmness? Are you at that spot yet, or do you think it's ever attainable?
I think it's exciting. It's more
okay.
More like, hey, this is good. Like, I think there are situations where kids transfer, and it's okay. It's okay to do that, right? Like, it's not, you're not going to, sometimes the situation is beneficial for both parties, right? Like, and we feel like, the transfer portal is an opportunity to make our team better, and also, for kids to thrive in their situations.
And so the transfer portal giveth, transfer portal taketh, of course. Going into the offseason, Dee Hagman, who would have been a senior guard next year, she enters the portal. But just like you're saying, like you're kind of figuring out, like, okay, who's going to be here next year, yada, yada, yada. And like, not to get you in hot water if this is overstepping here, but like, was that something that was shocking to the staff, or is it just chalking up to the era of the transfer portal? Like nothing's shocking anymore. Like how does that exit get handled by the coaching staff?
Yeah, I think, sometimes players and are just looking for different situations, right? And
Sure.
wish Dee the best. And I think there's different reasons why players go in the transfer portal, and it's just the reality of college basketball right now.
And you guys got a dynamite transfer waiting in the base. We can't bring up names, can't speak specifically to it, but let's just say a duck has waddled over clean across the country with a very nice pedigree and great stats. But you guys aren't done in the portal, or like how much more action is there left in your guys' offseason as far as building next year's roster goes?
No, we're still evaluating and still hosting visits and looking to upgrade our team and our locker room and just our huddle, right? Like Coach Fralick talks all the time about keeping our huddle tight and just making sure we have the right pieces that fit too.
There we go. And just, you know what? Let's just end it on here. Let's just do like the thing that makes people the most uncomfortable. That's just talking about yourself. Because Joel, peek behind the curtain for everyone. Like, we've known each other for quite some time. You were doing great work over at St. Clair County Community College over there in the Blue Water area. And now here you are just doing great things over, not just at a Power 5 school, but Michigan State University. That's back when I was doing high school reporting over in Port Huron. I don't know if I've improved much in my life, but look at the rise for you, man. I mean, what kind of a journey has it been like? And looking back at your SC4 days, like, do you almost like can't believe that you've made it here, or is this always kind of like the trajectory that you were thinking for yourself?
No, I was completely happy being a high school coach and teacher. Yeah, just I've been real fortunate and just grateful. I walk in this building every day. I'm like, I can't believe I work at Michigan. Right. Like, it's really cool. And also just, we feel a lot of like obligation and pride and like, hey, this is Michigan State. We got to do a really good job. We got to work really hard and bring the best players in the country here and develop them and give them the best experience that they could possibly have too. So
there we go. So just coolest part about working at Michigan State, like aside from the women's basketball, is it like the sweet football game tickets, or like what's like the coolest little perk that you get from behind the scenes there?
Oh man, there's so many of them, right? Like, just honestly though, like the support, right? The support fans, like the community, like East Lansing is, they love Michigan State, right? Everywhere you go, people are excited about the sports teams, right? And across the board right now in our university, like there's teams are crushing it, right? I went to a hockey game this year when they played Ohio State. The game was awesome, right? Like the environment, like volleyball, soccer, gymnastics. There's a lot of pride with Michigan State athletics right now, and the men's basketball staff has been really helpful for us, and
Gotcha.
Staff has been as well, and we're just excited to be part of it.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And hey, we're excited to have you guys aboard because, again, I'll reiterate it for the 100th time. The electricity is back with MSU women's basketball. And based on all the hard work that you, Coach Fralick, and the whole team are doing this offseason, it doesn't seem like things will be slowing down anytime soon. But hey, again, we got months until the season starts. Cannot wait to see it tip off. So, Joel, thanks a lot for, again, bringing up some of your insanely busy offseason with us here at Locked On Spartans, man. Really do appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support for our team, too.
Hey, you got it, folks. The viewers, the listeners, you guys are also all the best. Love you all. Go Green.